Rahul Magan here as the Chief Executive Officer of Treasury Consulting LLP, and today we would be covering another dedicated video about SAP GRC Audits. GRC stands for Governance, Risk and Compliance Audit. This basically would be covering about views towards ERP. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and as you very well understand that no company in this world can perform without ERP. Without best ERP in place and without the optimum utilization of ERP in place. In 2008, when I was approximately 1 year of my career in a treasury function with SL Technologies Limited, I was viewing an interview which was based upon 2008 financial crisis. I hope you all aware about that. In 2008, the world has faced a severe financial crisis. I forget the name of a gentleman who was then Cisco president, but he was in some conference in New York, and I'm a very staunch follower of a Bloomberg TV. I was viewing his interview, and there was a correspondent who asked a question that why do you think that in this 2008 financial crisis, when the banks, the financial institution, the non-banking financial corporation, almost everybody died, even AIG, American Insurance Group, Citibank share reduced to 3. Almost everybody died, but still Cisco turned out to be a number one player in Cisco not faced a major hit. His reply was that because we are closing our books every day. We are talking about a company called Cisco, the company with the size of Cisco. Cisco is not a small manufacturing concern. First of all, it is not a manufacturing concern, it's a technological concern. Because manufacturing a product and manufacturing a technological product both differs. Apple is not a manufacturing concern. Apple is a technological concern. Although they manufacture iPhone, they manufacture iPad, iMac and others. Similarly, Cisco is a top class technological concern. If this technological concern is able to close the books every day, literally every day, it means something in it. And even today, our informal sources suggest that Cisco is the only company in this world, only. In fact, the best companies, best American brands like Facebook, Google, Microsoft and Apple, they are not in that league. Cisco is closing the books every day. That couldn't be possible if you don't have a good GRC in place, if you don't have a good SAP ERP in place, if you don't have enterprise resource planning in place. Of course, it's very hard to tell that across the globe we have so many corporations, but there is a tendency that all the service companies are moving towards Oracle. On the other hand, all manufacturing concerns have SAP in place. With due respect to all the companies, my personal viewpoint towards Oracle and SAP is that SAP is more user friendly than Oracle. SAP is graphical user interface. On the other hand, Oracle is I'm not saying it's not graphical user interface, but it's not very friendly to operate that. SAP, it's easy to link the standalone balance sheet, the consolidated balance sheet and so many things. On the other hand, Oracle is not as easy to link that. There are a lot of configuration issues which we have in both the senses. And now SAP is HANA on the way and Oracle 12i is on the way. So the time will tell who is going to win this way. But today's video we would be talking about how GRC audits play a very important role. Unfortunately, what happens? Companies play a very important role. Companies spend a very good amount of money as far as the internal audits are concerned, as far as the SOX audits are concerned, as far as the statutory audit are concerned. They spend a very good amount of money in that. I don't want you to name any company in the public domain, but we have companies in India, those who have big fours, and they are spending more than 2 to 3 CR as an audit fee per year. Although this is, they can't afford that, but still they are spending 2 to 3 CR per year on as an audit fees, which excludes out-of-pocket expenses and others. But if you go to the CFO of these companies and you just ask them, boss, when was the last time you had looked at your SAP or Oracle GRC audits? The answer would be no. They never looked at that. Never ever a functional functional audit of SAP has happened in majority of the enterprises across the globe. And that is one of the reasons that one side the company is fortified. Fortified in the sense like they are sure that boss, all the processes are in place, the risk control metrics are in place, the SOP is in place, the SOD is in place, and everything is in place. On the other side, things are on the other side, you don't know who's entering in your system, whether somebody who might not have any access to the login rights would have the access to the login rights, and so on and so forth. This is the harsh reality of the life, because the SAP which we are using, we never understand that. This video would let you know that why the functional audit of SAP is very, very important, why the dashboarding is very, very important, and why the GRC audit is very, very important. Believe me, the cost, the enterprise cost of SAP is not cheap, but the cost of the functional audit is not too high. And I request all the people to have the functional audit in place, because if don't, you are at a mess. Here we go. SAP GRC audit predominantly covering the 5 topics, which is operations, compliance management, risk management, controls, internal audit, SOX, and COSO audit. We need to understand that SOX and COSO, these are only for the American companies or subsidiary of American companies in India. Example, Facebook, Google, Cognizant, Genpact, Accenture, Sapient, Microsoft, WNS, and so on and so forth. These are the subsidiaries of American companies in India. Being American companies, they are subject to both SOX as well as COSO. Although there is no hard and fast rule that they have to go with the COSO, but they are subject to. Now, these are the 5-6 things which matters in SAP, which is operations, compliance management, risk management audits, control, internal audit, SOX audit, and COSO. Now, SAP do have GRC suite, but the biggest problem with that, the configuration has to be very good. The person who is configuring that GRC suite has to be very good. He should understand each and everything in detail. This GRC suite covers the following, which is SAP Access Control. I will just hold for a minute. I'll take you in 2007 when I started my career and in a treasury function, and in SCL we used to have SAP. What it used to happen, you're just going to put your user ID and password and you are in the production systems. Now when you are in the production system, you can pass any entry, you can remove any entry, and so on and so forth. And believe me that there was practically no control on the entries. If I wanted, I could have shared my user ID and password. If anybody wanted, anybody could have shared his user ID and password. But now, if you open SAP, you put your, assuming your user ID is Rahul.Magan and your password is 12345. You will get an OTP on your mobile phone. That OTP will only come in your mobile phone. So assuming I join hands with you, I am working in some global conglomerate, Samsung, I have SAP, I shared my password with you, you are entered into the PP system, production management system, and you are saying that who all are the vendors for Samsung and at what rate they are supplying it. But before I share user ID and password, which is Rahul.Magan or password is 12345, there would be an OTP that would be that one-time password that would be coming on your mobile phone, and by the time I'm not putting the OTP, there is no point as I'm not entering into the production system. Now, after I entered into a production system, once I'm going to be exit from the production system, if a company can have OTP there also. While exiting, an OTP would come again, one-time password. I will take that one-time password, I will put into the system. What is the control? If I would have compromised my password or my password got hacked, by the time the person do not know what is the OTP to enter into or what is the OTP to exit out, he cannot use the production system. But all those people, those who are watching this video, would like to ask one simple question. How many companies we have in India, those who have multi-tier OTP? Example, once you enter into and once you exit out, both OTP has to be there, but it's not that. Access control, that is why we put it at number 1. Access control is a very important thing, and believe me, without any disrespect to anyone, access control is the thing which I found out is always taken at granted. Then we have risk management audits, SAP fraud management, SAP audit management, and interface. A lot of times, good companies are creating an interface with SAP. Example, the data analytics tools, Hadoop, Spark, SPSS, Minitab, R+, IDEA, ACL. The list is endless. Seriously, the list is endless. But do we really understand that how a fraud could have happened from an interface, how somebody entered via idea into SAP, or how somebody entered ACL in SAP or Spark or R plus or Hadoop. Do we seriously understand that, or we don't want you to understand that? Having an interface with SAP, and there are people, those who are going one level higher, in fact we do suggest, but with controls, which is PH, which is placeholder. There are people who are creating the placeholder. Now what is a placeholder? This is your server, I am writing is this S, this is your SAP, and this is a placeholder PH, and from this placeholder you are going to have the analytics tools in place. We are planning a separate video regarding the same, maybe today or tomorrow. They are creating a placeholder, and believe me, once they are creating a placeholder, they basically practically the user controls are completely missing. What is the point? So SAP GRC would offer you all five, which is access control, risk management, fraud audits, audit management, and interface. Then as a company, as a consulting company, we run this cycle, which is DSCMR cycle, which is we will define, we'll scope, we'll evaluate, we'll monitor, and we will report. But report is something which we'll discuss in detail here. So we will define, we will scope, we will evaluate, we will monitor, and we will report. Without quoting the name of a company, we have companies in India, those who have, I'm not saying exorbitant, they are paying almost 5 CR every year as a enterprise fees to SAP. 5 CR. And if you go to them and simply ask a question, are you using the SAP dashboarding? The answer would be, what do you mean by SAP dashboarding? SAP or any other ERP, whether it's Oracle 12i or JD Edwards or Ramco, they are worthless products. Not worthless, the fee which you are paying is worthless if you are not using the dashboarding. Dashboarding is something which you should have used, and I'm not saying you should have used at any cost, even though it requires a lot of effort from your side. SAP or any other ERP are configured according to the dashboarding. All dashboarding are quite possible, although the dashboardings are never non-customized in place. They are customized dashboarding. It means that you have to customize your dashboard accordingly. So in this R, which is reporting or shortly report, we will create the dashboarding. Of course, it's up to a company. If a company wants a dashboarding, we will create that. If the company don't want a dashboarding, we don't create that. And if the company want dashboarding, we will create the multi-tiered dashboarding in place. Example, you would have a you would have a consolidated dashboarding followed by individual dashboarding in place. And if you want, which we are launching a video very soon, we will create the CMA and CRA also with SAP. CMA stands for continuous monitoring activity and CRA stands for continuous reporting activity in place. We will link this with SAP. Finally, SAP dashboarding will help you to solve the 3 GRC problem. Number 1, audit pressures. Due to audit pressures, there are a lot of wrong things which are happening in the system. GRC will control that. Manual reactive control. What is manual reactive control? A fraud which has happened in the company. After 1 month, company got to know about the fraud which has happened. Person who did it almost left the company. Either he is on the notice period or he left the company. He is not reachable, phone not reachable. It's a reactive control. It will mitigate that. And limited visibility of the risk. Because people are not doing the SAP functional audits, the risk is almost invisible in nature. And because of this, the people are going to lose more. Who is going to take a benefit of that? These all 3 will be divided into 2 parts. Number 1, as is. Number 1, to be. In as is means that everything which is going. As is means that, basically, just like it. Example, how the things are going right now. Example, there are a lot of people who believe that the GDP of India is calculating in a wrong way. This is as is. To be means it should have been calculated in a different way. As is state would be covering internal audit, risk audits, external audits, IT, information technology and security, finance, board members and investor. On the other hand, to be state, we operate in 3 ways. Number 1, It's either as a consulting assignment, build, operate and transfer. We will build it, operate it and transfer it. Third, build, operate, own and transfer. Fourth, we will continue to provide the regular updates. At the end, the purpose of this video is to let you know that SAP is a wonderful product. All ERP are wonderful product, whether it's a SAP, it's a Oracle, or it's a JD Edwards or anyone. They have to be treated in a very nice way. We are sparing so much amount of money as far as the enterprise costs are concerned. But at the same time, I don't understand why we are not doing the GRC audit. Today the frauds are not like that. Somebody will enter into your vault and he will take the physical cash. Today the fraud is, take an example. You are a manufacturing concern. The profit margins are 10%. And take any manufacturing concern. The profit margin are not more than 10% nowadays because of the huge competitiveness which is happening in the market. And I am working in your production department. I am quitting my job, but I wanted to make money. I will join my hands. I will join the hands with somebody who is your competitor. Assuming you are Siemens, which is a manufacturing concern, assuming the party with whom I am joining the hands is ABB. Both are almost into the same electrical distribution business. I am giving my password to somebody and I make sure that the person will enter into your system and he will see who all are your vendors, at what rate they are supplying to you. Example, in any electrical equipment, either it's a meter, panel or any other thing, there are so many vendors. Companies don't produce everything. Companies sublet the things. I'll allow him to enter into the system and see at what price they are bidding, and I will leak the secret information that he is a vendor sitting at Belgium who is providing the wires to Siemens. Now the point is, the company is so concerned about internal audit, the statutory audit, the reporting and all, but the company is extremely lax as far as the GRC audits are concerned. Because company never thought about that. Now the point is there is any relevance which is left for a company to run business at a 10% margin when my competitor know the phone number, the location, the name and the price at which my vendor is providing? There's no relevance of doing business. GRC audits are very, very important nowadays because the days are bygone when people would have entered into your vault and taken your physical cash. These days are gone now. People are hitting you where you think you are most comfortable. This is what our request. In case you want to talk to us, our website is www.treasuryconsulting.in. Our mobile is 9899242978, while Skype ID is Rahul5327. On the other hand, email is rahul.magan@treasuryconsulting.in. We are doing a lot of SAP related assignments and there are a lot of videos which are on the way. In case you have any requirement, do contact us. We have a very good base as far as the virtual CFO services are concerned. Thank you and have a wonderful time ahead.